September monthly board meeting of Florence County School District 3 Board of Trustees is now called to order. In accordance with the South Carolina Code of Laws 1976, Section 30-4-809D as amended, the following have been notified of the time, date, place, and agenda of this meeting. Morning News, Lake City Shopper, WBTW, WPDE, and WMBF. This agenda is also posted on the Florence County School District 3 website. Madam Secretary.
All board members are in attendance with Ms. Paula Morris on the phone.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. At this time, please ensure that all electronic devices are on silent or vibrate. And please stand as our interim superintendent, Ms. Casey Fagan, will come before our pledge of allegiance and moment of silence.
Good evening. Please remember all Florence 3 faculty and staff, especially those experiencing loss like Ms. Paula Morris, who recently lost her husband.
Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Board, I'll now entertain a motion regarding the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rebecca Yates and a second by Ms. Rutha Frierson. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Board, I'll now entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we receive the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rutha Frierson and a second by Ms. Rebecca Yates. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. At this time, we're down to public participation. We have two individuals that have signed up for public participation tonight. The first is Ms. Contessa Bradley, who will be speaking to us about the Career Technology Education Program, specifically the cosmetology and barbering. And second will be Ms. Marlon Brown, who will speak to us about Panther Pride. Ladies, you may come to the podium at this time.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this time. I actually have a PowerPoint because our superintendent knows that I talk to. So before she says anything, I figured I'd go ahead and do a PowerPoint. So thank you for giving me this time. Lake City Career and Technical Education. I am the assistant principal at our Career Technology Center. And we're having tech code. Come on, this is my 3 minutes.
Y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay. The Technology Center, we offer hands-on training, practical experience in specific trades and technical skills, real-world connections, industry engagement through internships, job shadowing, and mentorships. Skill development, a focus on both technical skills and essential soft skills like critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. We offer career pathways, and they're structured sequences of courses leading to post-secondary education or direct employment. We offer certification, opportunities to earn industry, recognized credentials that enhance job prospects. We at Lake City CTE offer auto mechanics, building construction, culinary arts, entrepreneurship, firefighting, health science, and masonry. Now, there are 2 courses you see, fundamentals of computers, personal finance. We offer those also, but those are mandated by the state. But we've lost some programs that were important, such as child development, accounting 1 and 2, and business law. If you add all those together, that's a certification in itself as a business certification. We have not had any major certification since 1988. But yet, we are trying to keep up with the demands of the jobs for our students who are graduating, who want to obtain jobs and be career ready. So we're behind. CTE provides opportunities for our students to be career ready. When they graduate, they have skills. The masonry class, when they graduate, they know how to lay bricks because they have that experience while they're in school. They're productive, they're responsible members of society, and it aligns with our FSD3 mission. What CTE programs offer? We've done that hands-on training, real-world connections, skill development, career pathways. Why is it so important for me to be here? Because when I look at Lake City and how much the per capita income for a person, when I see that a person is only making $19,000 and $22,000 a year, and when our kids leave, our students leave CTE, that they're making double that, it's important for me to stand in front of you. For cosmetologists and barbering, their salaries start from $28,000 to $48,000 a year. And they can go beyond that because when you own your own business, the sky is the limit. But without those things, we're limiting our students. I don't think there's anybody in here that has never had their hair done at one time or the other. So you know the need is there. Somebody's gonna want a haircut. When you're going to do something special, the first thing you do is try to get your hair done. Get a facial, get your nails done. You wanna look good. So the need is there. Next. Is the cost greater than giving students a future? I have to let you answer that. We have Chef Tasha May. She won Hell's Kitchen season 13. She comes back every summer and participate with our kids with culinary arts. So you're talking about somebody who left here very, very successful, but came back. They come back every year to help. In the middle, you'll see one of our teachers, Richard Nettles, with one of his students, Everett Sanders. Everett graduated 9 years ago in the firefighting class. And now he's a captain with the city of Florence. The last picture that you see, and by this is no means that all the students, this is just a few, but you have Jewel McFadden. Jewel graduated out of the CTE program with Coco Floyd, and now she's the teacher teaching CTE. So she is back in the community, but she's not at McDonald's or Burger King or any of the fast food places. She's now a teacher, helping other people to be successful. And the pictures you see are from our firefighting, where the kids are out using the jaws of life to get someone out of a car. You have our culinary arts class as they went to Lake City Early Childhood, teaching the kids how to make cookies and put icing on them. We have cornhole boards by our building and construction. As you can see, auto mechanics, and we have health science. And those are just few of the things that they're doing. I only have 3 minutes, so I couldn't put more on it. And I want to thank you for your time, for considering the career and technical education and what we have to offer for Florence School District 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Good afternoon. So I drive the minibus for kind of the elementary kids. And it seems like it's getting a little out of hand. I mean, I'm seeing so many kids going to ACE, and I feel like it's not helping them. I feel like it's not helping them because you see the same ones keep going back and forth. Like they may start, they end the year in ACE, start the year in ACE. And it's like they're going back and forth. I mean, it's the same ones like a cycle, a revolving door. They're going in and out, in and out. And my heart goes out because I feel like every year it gets worse and worse. It's more kids, it's more kids, it's more kids. And I'm not sure what's going on, because I mean, I don't work with them like that. You know, I drive with them and I hear the things they talk about on the bus. Like they'll say stuff like, who's gonna go to sleep in class first? You know, when they get to ACE, like who's gonna go? Or I see someone be on the bus and you can tell they've been sleeping all day because they have the marks on their face from when they've been sleeping all day long. You know, and I'm like, so I mean, what are y'all doing in class? You know what I'm saying? And it just, I mean, it just bothers me to see that. And I'm like, is there anything else that can be done? Because ACE, they're not scared to go to ACE. That's like, I don't know if it's like a vacation to them or what, but it's not phasing them at all, at all. Now, when Mr. Spades get on the bus and talk to them, they calm down. They know he don't play with them. But then after that, it's a revolving door. It's they keep going, the same ones. I'm like, how do you start the year off and end the year off in ACE? And it don't bother them. And so I'm just wondering if there's any other, something else you can do to make them realize that this is not a game. You know, this is your life. This is actually your life. You know, so I wanted to come and speak and to see if there's anything else that maybe can be done to help them, because they're not afraid to go to ACE. They love it. I think some of them get in trouble just to go, to be honest with you. So, I mean, is there anything else that can be done? Because I mean, I'm the one that drives them and I see it all the time. So that was what I wanted to come and speak about. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
No problem. Thank you. This time we are down to the board chair report and reports from other board members. At this time, I will start with Mr. Locklear.
I don't have anything anymore.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Kirby.
No, I don't have anything anymore.
Okay. Mr. McKnight.
Good evening. On September 2nd, South Carolina State Superintendent of Education, Ms. Ellen Weaver, visited J.C. Lynch Elementary School for the release of the 2025 South Carolina Ready statewide assessment results. J.C. Lynch posted strong scores in 3rd grade English, ELA, and math. I just want to say a great job to Principal Devine, Ms. Burgess, Ms. Yu, and the rest of the staff and parents for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKnight. Ms. Yates. Okay. Ms. Ferguson.
I just want to endorse what Mr. McKnight said about J.C. Lynch. And just want them to continue. Also, I just want to shout out to Scranton Elementary, because I sit in the car rider line and they're professionals at directing traffic. It doesn't matter what the weather is, they are out there. And you know, not to say anything about the other schools, because I go where my grandson goes, having to pick him up. But you know, the sheriff department need to hire them to direct traffic. But I just want to shout out to them for their effort and what they do for our children, keeping them safe. That's all.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Ferguson. Ms. Thomas.
I would too like to piggyback on what Trustee McKnight said, but I also want to thank the chair for breaking my legs on a tour of all the schools. And, Ryan and Mitch, great job was done. Y'all almost killed me, but, and we had a lot of schools and got a lot of issues. And I want to thank all the people that keep these schools together, because y'all deserve a hand clap, because some of the schools are so old, but y'all do an excellent job, and I want y'all to know that. If nobody told you that, I will tell you today, you do an excellent job. I see somebody else out there out there, but you don't work in schools like I do. But you do a good job of doing that, and I want to thank the chair for taking us onto this tour, because it was very informative. Interim superintendent went with us as well, and it didn't kill me. So my mom always said, well, don't kill you. You know, you survived it. So I survived it, but it was very informative, and I hope the day will come when this board can say, we did everything that y'all put down, and all the schools will work fine. I don't know when it will be, but that's my dream. That's gonna do. Maybe I hit the lottery and then we'll do it. How's that? Okay. But thank y'all.
Dr. Mears? Okay, Ms. Morris?
No report, sir.
Thank you so much. At this time, we are down to the interim superintendent's report with Ms. Casey Fagan.
We're starting off tonight with some student recognitions, and I am very excited to recognize these two young ladies, but I'm going to ask Coach App and Mr. Cook if they'll come up too. And, oh, I didn't see you, I'm sorry, and Coach Gray. So we have two students who we are recognizing tonight, and their pictures are on the screen as well. Candace Ross was the 2A state runner-up for 100-meter hurdles, and excuse me, Miss Tara Muldrow was actually the state champion for the 100-meter hurdles. I'm going to give the coaches an opportunity to speak about these two young ladies, and then we're going to present them with certificates.
All right.
And Mr. McKnight has a special connection.
I wasn't expecting just to speak up here, though. I was going to be in the background, but these two ladies right here, along with the rest of them, are a lot of my joy throughout the year, why I continue to come to work and do what I do, because they are the essence of what perseverance, hard work, and determination comes from. A lot of runners they run against, especially from Upper State, they do track year-round, belong to track clubs. They have these wonderful facilities to practice in. They have 5 or 6 coaches out there and everything else, and to see them come from our humble beings that we have and put in work every year to achieve what they have achieved, it was just a blessing to be there. And I give all credit to them for the hard work they do. We haven't had a home track meet since 2010, so one day when she won that lottery, we're gonna have that home track that everybody can come out and see just how special they are and how much work they put in. But until then, we'll keep pushing. And hopefully next year we'll be back here again when we repeat as champions.
All right.
TT came in my life about when she was in 8th grade, 7th grade maybe, and she is determined to do whatever she wants to do. Coach Graham come to me 2 years ago and said, hey, we need a coach, and I wasn't sure about it, but okay, let's do it. And then I realized who I was coaching, and it's like, these kids, they don't need us. They go and do it on their own. I think both of these girls came to the middle school this summer because we purchased some equipment to help them get better, and they didn't, neither one of us, we were there, but we weren't there. And they did their own thing. They're very determined to get what they want. They're gonna put their mind to it, and they don't need anyone to push them, other than when they get kind of slack and you gotta say some words. Because TT's one that you gotta say some harsh words to get it where she needs to be.
Congratulations, ladies. We are here celebrating their athletic achievements, but I would like everybody to note that they are both dual enrollment college students. Both of them.
All right.
Candace, I believe, is still over 14 and TT's at 3.9, so we're extremely proud of you and we love you. Thank you.
All right.
Mine's simple, what he said. The sky's the limit for both of these young ladies, and they both know that. But I'm super proud of the fact you represent us all, right? It's not just so, we say this all the time, when you wear Lake City, that's all of us. So thank you for representing us well. That's what we appreciate. Thank you.
And Ms. Muldrow will be receiving her state championship ring tomorrow night at the football game. So I know she's very excited about that. So again, we are recognizing Ms. Tara Muldrow for state champion 100. Proud dad. And Miss Candace Ross for our runner-up is still awesome. Could their family members that are in the audience stand? Because we know that you're only as good as the family you have behind you. Everybody, let's take pictures. Kind of smile. Let's even out the number.
I'll stand next to you, we're about the same height.
All right.
All right.
All right, and this time we will have Ms. Hope Gibson for our finance update.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board.
Good evening.
I would like to present to you Florence County School District 3, September 2025 finance update. Our mission statement is ensuring our students are college or career ready and are productive and responsible members of society. Fiscal year 2025-2026 district goals. Number 1, to improve the academic success of all students. Number 2, to ensure the safety of all district schools, offices, students, and staff. Number 3, to increase the number of students reading on grade level in grades K through 3. Number 4, to recruit, retain, and train excellent instructional and administrative staff. Number 5, to build effective school, community, and business relationships, partnerships. And number 6, to ensure financial stability. The general fund reports are linked to the board agenda and also posted on the Florence County School District 3 website. The general fund approved budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 is $35,646,811. This slide is the general fund by object as of August 31st, 2025. Are there any questions?
No questions, thank you, Ms. Gibbs.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have Ms. Angela Scott with our Human Resources update.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to share first with our personnel report, just our updated certified vacancies. Currently, we have one early childhood position, one science position. We're still in need of music positions. And we also have a nurse position that's also open. I do want to remind everyone that we have job alerts that we send out each week, sorry. And so sign up for our job alerts. It will tell you every time that we have a vacancy. It's also very easy to share with your friends if you see a job that they may be interested in as well. Tonight, we're presenting Board Policy GBC, Staff Compensation, a policy update. We are adding language to ensure that we're in compliance with the Educator Assistance Act. Again, adding in that upon recommendation of the superintendent, the board will notify teachers in writing of their employment status before May 1st of each year. That was already in policy. Our addition, this notice will include the projected salary schedule for the district for the school year. In the event of a loss or reduction in state, local, or federal funding that was anticipated by the district at the time of the projected salary schedule was adopted, the notice will specify any downward adjustments to the projected salary schedule. Upon completion of the state and location appropriations, teachers will receive a final salary schedule. So if there is any difference from what we send to them beforehand, we will make sure that they have a file. The other correction is just a rewording instead of contract rejection, just rejection of the contract.
You want to go through all of them, or you want to do one?
Yes. I'm also presenting to you Board Policy GCB, a policy update, professional staff contracts and compensation. Again, this is to ensure that we're complying with the Educator Assistance Act. You will see that we have added not only to attract and retain individuals, but to attract and retain well-qualified individuals. We are also adding, upon written request, the board will provide teachers with the factors that are used to determine their pay category on the salary schedule. And again, including the language, this notice will include the projected salary schedule for the district for the school year. Upon completion of the state and local appropriations, teachers will be provided a final salary schedule. Teachers who are reemployed must give written acceptance of their contracts to the superintendent before May 11th of each year. Failure to provide such notification constitutes a rejection of the contract. We are also presenting to you Board Policy Update, GCK, Professional Staff Assignments and Transfers. Previously, we said the superintendent will annually determine the professional staff to be assigned to each school on or before August 15th of each year. That language will now read no later than 14 days before students are scheduled to return to school. Of course, we're on a modified schedule, so that would be well before that August 15th date. The superintendent is authorized to reassign staff in the best interest of the district. We are adding the language, if reassignment is necessary, the professional staff member will be notified at least 5 school days in advance of the reassignment. Except when a critical district need makes such notice impossible or the staff member has requested the assignment. We are removing the language, the transfer of a professional staff member from one school to another may be initiated by the staff member, the school principal, or the superintendent, and rewording that to say the staff member, the school principal, or the superintendent may initiate the transfer of a professional staff member from one school to another. Policy update, GCQC/GCQD. Resignation of professional staff. We are adding the language for breach of contract. If a staff member signs a new contract in another district without being formally released from his or her previous contract, he or she will be considered to have breached his or her previous contract, and the new contract is considered void. When the superintendent does not accept the resignation and the staff member fails to continue performing his or her contractual duties, the superintendent will report the breach of contract to the board. The board may send a formal complaint to the State Board of Education within 60 days of the breach, requesting that appropriate action be taken against the staff member for failure to comply with contractual obligations. If there is conclusive evidence, SBE will take action on a complaint signed by the appropriate administrator. However, documentation must be provided to show that the board has voted to send the complaint. Both state law and regulations provide for suspension of a professional certificate under such circumstances. And we are removing the language, if a staff member signs a new contract without being properly released from a previous contract, the new contract is considered void, as that is explained under breach of contract. Those are our policies for revision, and we are also introducing a new policy for first reading. Proposed policy for the sick leave bank program. There are some areas that I would like to point out on the policy. It states that Florence School District 3 has established a sick leave bank program, allowing all staff members who have occurred sick and or annual leave in excess of 60 days to contribute their unused leave to a sick leave bank. The purpose of the sick leave bank is to provide additional leave for staff members experiencing a catastrophic situation resulting from a serious illness or accident that requires a staff member to be absent from work when all of their sick and vacation leave has been exhausted. Staff members who have been employed with the district for 3 consecutive years will be eligible to receive donations of sick leave for medically certified illness, injury, impairment, or pregnancy or related condition of a staff member or a member of his or her immediate family that will cause a staff member to exhaust all of their accumulated leave. The superintendent or his or her designee will have sole discretion to approve or deny all leave donation requests in accordance with this policy. This sick leave bank is completely voluntary. No staff member will be forced to join the sick leave bank. Conditions for donating leave. Staff members desiring to donate leave under this program must have been employed with the district in a leave earning position for a minimum of 3 consecutive years. Donate to each receiving staff member no less than 10, but no more than 20 days. Donate no more than 40 days per school year and not allow his or her sick leave balance to drop below 10 days. For those receiving leave, to qualify to receive donations under this program, the staff members must have been employed with the district for a minimum of 3 years, have exhausted all sick leave, vacation, and personal leave days, and must still be out on leave. And during his or her employment with the district, staff members would be limited to receiving 90 donated days per year.
Is this policy in line with other school districts' sick leave bank?
Yes, ma'am. This is actually the model school policy that was just sent out. I believe that some of our districts that are surrounding will be moving to this as well. We do have some that already have policies such as this in place.
Board, at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding policy revisions for policy GBC, staff compensation, policy GCB, professional staff contracts and compensation, policy GCK, professional staff assignments and transfers, and policy GCQC, policy GCQCD, resignation of professional staff.
I move that we approve the revisions to policies GBC, GCB, GCK, GCQC/GCQD.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Julia Mims and a second by Ms. Rutha Frierson. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve the policy revisions for policy GBC, staff compensation, policy GCB, professional staff contracts and compensation, policy GCK, professional staff assignments and transfers, and policy GCQC/GCQD, resignation of professional staff, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Board, at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding first reading of new policy GCCAAA, sick leave bank program.
I'm going to approve policy number GCCAAA.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rebecca Yates and a second by Ms. Maddie Thomas. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve first reading of policy GCCAAA, sick leave bank program, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have our instructional updates from Ms. Mary Howard, who's our Chief Academic Officer.
Good evening, board chair and board members. All right, tonight I'm gonna bring you instructional updates from our district SE Ready data. As was stated before by Mr. McKnight and Ms. Ryerson and also Ms. Thomas, we do have some exciting things happening in Florence 3. The first slide you see is our SE Ready ELA reading data. This is the percentage of students who meets or exceeds the academic standards here. This is historical data over time, so we can see that we have a steady trend, very consistent in the growth, and so we are proud to share our results to show that we do have a steady increase of growth from year to year. We actually have a 4.3% increase from where we were last year for our ELA scores. So we have seen, when we do a breakdown of individual schools, you'll be able to see where those scores are landing, but as a district overall is the data that I'll be presenting tonight. The next slide shows that we had increases in percent of students meeting or exceeding standards in all grades but 7, and that was still a struggle for us from last year. So we're continuing to look at that 7th grade data and looking to see where that gap lies in between 6th to 7th grade there. We do attribute our high quality instructional materials, looking at that core curriculum is being implemented, wonders in K2, ready for 3-8. We do have Read 180 for 7th and 8th grade. They're also using some Study Sync there as well. So we've been working with those principals to actually see what that model looks like. And then for our science of reading and looking at foundational reading skills, we're using our ERLA and our letters training there. We'll have almost all of our K3 teachers will be trained in letters. After this year, we should be almost finished around, and we started our early letters, and that's with our 4K teachers. We are continuing with our 30 for 30, so that intentional focus on student reading conferences has also helped our ELA grades. And that scaffold instruction for that differentiation has been very helpful for us as we pull those small groups, really going back in and looking to close those instructional gaps. In our PLCs, we've been working on backwards design and using the support documents from the State Department. So we want to make sure that we're very intentional at looking at what's being tested, how is it being tested, and the rigor of that standard. So we are being very intentional with who's growing, what's the next steps, and what do we do so we can continue our trajectory for growth. As we move into math, we still see increases in math, not as much as in ELA, but we do have some steady growth in math too. We, if you look across time, we have gained back to where we were before COVID. So we do have that steady increase there. We had a 2.7% increase in math. So we will have, we're implementing new math standards, so we're being very, looking very closely at that instructional framework. We are working with our curriculum associates, so they're providing professional development for our teachers. They've already did one round last week, and they'll be back at the end of the month actually breaking down that curriculum using that math textbook, what strategies, when to use the strategies, how to actually use that high quality material. The next slide shows you some of those key priorities for us, and just looking at Math Nation, how we're using it with the new textbooks there. Our learning walks, we've been going around to schools, looking to see that core curriculum being used and implemented and providing any feedback there. And again, just putting that intentional focus on standards and strategies. And Lake City High School has implemented small group and flex for their time to actually look at data on a consistent basis. Mr. Cook and his team are really doing a good job with catching kids every week. So we will see that in our results. We're going to be looking for those, that impact as the year goes on. Our next slide shows our end of course results. And in end of course, we see that and this is the high school exams, we have Algebra 1, English 2, Biology 1, and U.S. History. We're having some increases there. The only grade we did not have an increase, or the only test was English 2. So we are looking at that. Last year was the first year they used StudySync there, but we did have a slight change in the number of students that was tested in English 2 as well, as compared to the state average, but we were still at 51.6% there. So again, really still putting that intentional focus in with our math scores for Algebra 1 and looking at U.S. history, those primary sources, what's being used, how do we use the documents that the State Department has given us to make sure that we are having an intentional focus there. Also, for back to elementary, I probably should have flipped those slides around, I'm sorry. There you go. SC Ready science scores are from 4th and 6th grade. Remember last year they just gave us raw numbers. They really didn't have the ratings there. So this year, compared to the 22-23, because we had new standards and a new test. So now we have the actual results. So we're coming in at 27.5%, which was higher than what it was in the 22-23 school year. So we will continue to work with our science teachers as well. The next steps for science is kind of the same thing, using that backwards design, curriculum mapping, really looking at pacing guides with that new curriculum. And looking at biweekly standards checks. So we are currently, once our Mastery Connect gets up and going, we're having a little bit of struggle there, but as soon as that gets fixed, we'll be back to our bi-weekly standards check. All right, next slide. What's happening in Florence 3? So like I said earlier, we've been going around doing, district instructional team has started their weekly visits for walkthroughs using our Elliott tool to get ready for our cognitive visit in the spring. Also, Ms. Doris has been working with leadership teams in data meetings, all schools analyzing their iReady data and how to use the Rally tool. It's called Navigator Training to see historical data and to help schools with data dives for instructional moves. During that time, she's also been meeting with secondary schools, looking at tracking grad rates, CCR, to make any corrections to data before those final ratings are being released. So those ratings will be released on next month. So that's coming really soon. So just cleaning up any errors, any things that we need to find there. So we've been busy out in schools, making sure that we are looking at instruction and how can we help. And then any areas we can come back together as a team, what do we need to go out and help support. Our next slide is our highlight. I just wanted to go back and give our food service department a shout out for all the great things they did this summer with our summer feeding program. Miss Valerie and her team, they make it happen. So for summer camp, we had summer camp 3 locations. They served over 4,000 meals for breakfast and over 5,000 meals for lunch. In addition to that, they did 7 designated sites in the community for 3 days a week for pickup, serving 21 days at no cost to students. They served almost 7,000 meals to our community over the summer. So can we give our food service department a hand? Anytime we call on Ms. Valerie, she is always there to help. And when we started talking about numbers, I really wanted to give her a shout out for the great assistance that she provided for us during the summer to make sure our babies are fed. And then on our last slide, upcoming events on October the 6th, it is the 45th day of school. Then we'll be going right into intercession for October 9th through the 13th. And then we will have our first report cards go home on October 15th. Any questions from the instructional updates?
I'd like to know who Mrs. Doris is.
Miss Amanda Doris, new to our team.
I don't think she's been interviewed.
Oh, stand up, Amanda. Amanda is the Director of Student Service. She has brought a wealth of knowledge to our team. She been tracking those grad rates. Her and Mr. Jason, you probably saw him when you came in, we're back there getting it straight again because she was at a state meeting today. So she's been tracking those grad rates, looking at numbers, any students that might have transferred to another district or out of state, getting those out of our numbers so we can get our numbers right. So that is Ms. Doris. She has joined our team and we are loving on her.
Also,
Yes, ma'am.
I know you all live with acronyms all
Okay.
the time. But I would like for you all, instead of saying your acronym, just say it out what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
For example, PLC, we do have cheat sheets, but it's not on here.
Got you. I'll
Also,
go get it.
in the SC Ready, I've been studying the report. And I noticed the disabled, there's a list for the disabled. I noticed that they are doing well as long as in elementary, but as they get higher, it starts dropping. And so I'm wondering, and we know that, in all cases, but just, what's going on with that? And I know, all of that is being counted whenever we get our report card and all of that. So just want to look into maybe what's going on.
Okay, and I can bring you back some subgroup data at the next meeting. That is one of the things that we do track with principals. We look at how is our disabled population compared to our overall student growth. We also look at male, female. We look at any other subgroups within our data. If they have an ML population, we look at that as well. We look at what curriculum is being taught in those OEC classes. I know at Dr. Ronald W. McNair, they're actually using Read 180 in that classroom as well. So we're trying to make sure that they're getting that standardized instruction, that they're getting grade level content, they're being introduced to it, even if we have to scaffold it back, that they do get that. So that is one of the things we are aware of, and we're making sure that they're getting that because that's what they're tested on. So even if they do have an IUP, they still take the same test. Everybody takes the same test.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
At this time, we have representatives from the city of Lake City that are going to come and share with us an update on the water tower that is kind of in between Lake City High School and Lake City Early Childhood. So I'm going to let them come now, and I'll let them introduce themselves and share with us.
Good afternoon, board. Appreciate the opportunity for y'all to meet with us tonight. We're looking at renovating that 500,000 gallon water tank out behind the schoolhouse, out behind High School on Manatee Road. I think it's a little over an $800,000 project, which we're working on to cover that. There were some questions and I appreciate Ms. Fader and those that met with us earlier last month concerning the logo on the tank. When the tank is renovated, we will be putting whatever you want back up on there as far as what the school wants as a logo. If you want to change it or whatever. What we were really asking for is help maybe on funding the work that would be done to the tank over in the years to come as far as having it cleaned. That tank was put up in 2003, I think. We've had it cleaned one time, and I know most of you know if you've seen it, it needs cleaning right now. It's, the north side really has a bad problem with mildew, and the last time we had it cleaned, it was a little over around about $5,000. Now it's probably in the neighborhood of about $20,000 to have one cleaned. And we were just requesting that the school board could maybe help fund some of that in a yearly fund to help keep the tank clean. We're asking for maybe $1,500 a year and have that allocated for that tank to be cleaned and have some of that funding there, which the city would have some in it also. But in doing that, I think it's about $18,000 to have the logo put. It's expensive to have the logo put back. I think it's about $18,000.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get that. And also, there's a little building there, and you know, if the school wanted to use the side of that, because it's actually, when you're sitting on the softball field, you can see that building. So if you wanted to put something else on it, you know, concerning the recreation or whatever, the school, we wouldn't have a problem also with you doing that, because that building's gonna also be renovated, with a new roof and painting also. But, we would greatly appreciate if the school could, assist in some of that maintenance that would be coming over the years. And I promise you it will come. It is a very high maintenance project. And we've done all our tanks since 2017. We have all of them. This will be the last one, which is the largest. I guess. Yeah, and Michael, if you want to add something.
Sure, yeah. We have a quick presentation prepared to kind of describe to you guys what type of grant project we have and the process that goes along with that grant and what you guys will see on site if you want us to zip through that. I know you guys are really busy, but we can run through that real quick. Okay. All right. So introduction to your project team, or and this is our agenda. Quick introduction to the project team. Mr. Ricky will be what our owner is. You've got myself, Michael Henry with AECOM. We're civil engineers by schooling. By trade, we find ourselves doing a little bit of everything, especially for the city of Lake City. Also got Mr. Turner Jordan with me today. He'll be your primary point of contact on site as we work to rehab this water tank, and he has got some credentials with the inspections of the coating system of the water tank. Keep rolling. Okay. Real quick, we have local presence. We work, we live, and we play here in the PD. Our office is in Florence, not too far along, and one of our staff members lives in Scranton. So we've got good local presence. If anything happens, on this job site, or you guys need to get in touch with us, we are available. So I know you want to see another acronym, but we won't have to add this to your cheat sheet. This is for the project is funded by what's called a state revolving fund. It's administered from the Department of Health and Science. We call them DES now. They changed their name too, so it's fun keeping up with those acronyms. Mr. Ricky is right. We have $850,000 to rehab this tank, and it was completely funded by this grant. So that's great. Where we are in the project and in the phase, this is where we have many hats. We kind of help scope projects and get grant funding for the city, but we also like to do the engineering, the design, and help with construction. So right now we've got our preliminary engineering report. It's been approved. There's a couple other processes that we have to go through because these are federal funds, but we are working on what we call the project manual, which is all of the construction requirements and what the contractor will have to do on site. And Turner has already done like a follow-up inspection too, so we're hoping to hit ground, I don't know, in spring. And Turner will kind of go through and talk about some of his findings. He did this inspection report. So this will be your second go at it, but we look at the tank and keep looking at it.
Right.
Go ahead, Turner.
So I'm Turner Jordan. I'm a NACE certified coatings inspector for AECOM, and I handle all of the field rehabilitations and construction of all the tanks that we do. So yeah, here we go. So just to show you a little bit about the tank, that's what is inside that door. I know that you've all probably never seen that before. You've just seen it from far away and the outside of it, but it's got a little door down at the bottom, and you can see all the piping that goes up into the interior of the tank. And the inside of this tank actually looks really great. Normally when it's time to rehab, it's time to paint the outside, the inside, and inside the bowl of these tanks. So we're gonna leave the inside dry structure of this tank alone. It's still in great condition. So that's something that we can leave out of the project. Right, yeah, all the piping gets replaced and coated and everything. So brand new there. So if you want to go to the next slide. there's the fill line, the one on the left is called out by a little arrow. That's where the water goes up into the bowl of the tank, and that's also where it comes down. It's got a little bypass valve that allows it to do both of those. And then on the right, you have a slightly bigger line, and that's the overflow line. When the tank gets too full, you don't want too much water going up, spilling out of the top of the tank. It's not made to hold that much weight. So you need an overflow line to allow that excess water to escape the tank and keep it at a normal operating level. And then you have 3 separate platforms on the inside of that tank. And on the right side of that screen, you can see, there I am on the first one. You can see the fill line and the overflow line protruding through it. And that first picture there is where the fill line enters the bowl of the tank. So that's where all the water is housed and stored in the tank, and then it eventually leaves by gravity and pressurizes y'all's system. There's a little tube that you climb up to get onto the actual bowl, or on top of the bowl of the tank. So that little tube in the middle of the picture, it actually goes through all the water sitting inside of the bowl. So it's kind of hard to tell, but if you look closely, you can see some condensation running down the side of that tube, and that's because it's all surrounded by water around it. And then that last picture is what it looks like on top of the tank. You see where you access the interior of the bowl on the far left, and then the one with the open hatch is that little tube that you climb through, and then beside that you have a tank vent. Go on to the next one. And there's some good pictures of the tank. You can tell that it's dirty for sure. This tank was coated with a clear coat back in 2000, and I think it was 2 when it was built. And I mean, it's done a fair job since then, but this clear coat is something that's been discontinued now, and it's something that we want to get rid of. It's kind of part of the problem why we think this tank looks so bad, but it also has a bad problem with the biological growth on the shady side of it. And that's something that we were hoping to eliminate with the funds from the school board. Every 10 years or so, it's time to wash the outside of that tank to keep the coating in good condition and keep it looking good.
So, I have a question. This is not the only water tank in Lake City. Are you asking the people where the other water tanks to help contribute to the cleaning of the other water tanks? I mean, the only reason is you're asking us is because this is, near the high school, right?
Well, no ma'am, this is actually at the high school, and I don't remember what the first agreements were. I know there was maybe it's a little bit of confusion in '03 when it was painted about the logo and everything. But anyway, I think the contractor back then actually just went ahead and put it on there, the logo at that time. But it's expensive now to keep them up. But yes, ma'am, to answer your question, Black River Hospital, MUSC, they are getting ready to put a logo up on theirs, and they are going to pay for their own, and they'll be contributing also. That's the only 2 that we have or only one we have right now is Black River.
So the one that's in Lake City near J. Paul Trulott School, that big water tower, you don't have anything to do with that?
Which one?
The one near J. Paul Trulott?
Yes, ma'am. That one, we just had that one renovated in 2017, I think it was.
All right, is somebody helping you keep that one up?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The tank, we have tanks. We have that tank that was in 2017. We had Wallace Road that was done. That was the green tank, which is painted the same color now. And also what we call the checkerboard tank, the one that's out at the airport. We couldn't get away from that color because of the airport being there. We requested it, but it had to go back to the same color. But all 3 of those tanks are funded by the city. I mean, when something's got to be done.
But you're asking us because this one's at the high school and because it has the high school, has our logo on it?
Well, yes, ma'am, and that, yes, ma'am, and that kind of helped the city. And we would ask that if you could help, in whatever amounts you could, it be allocated for that purpose. Not nowhere else in the system to absorb that to be spent on anything else, but we would like to have any help that we get be actually allocated for these projects that we're doing. But the only 2 we have right now, or only one we have, is the MUSC, and they're getting ready to do theirs, and then possibly this one, if y'all would consider that.
Board, are there any additional questions for the gentleman? All right, what I'm gonna ask you all, if you all will give us something in writing, because we need to on dollar amounts, we can't go with, estimations, we have to vote on dollar amount.
Sure.
So if you all can prepare that for us and provide it to our interim superintendent, we'll add it to the next time we meet to take action on it.
Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for your time.
I would like to add, Mayor Robinson would have been here from a previous game, but she was not able to be here tonight, so.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Had a little bit of technical.
Well, we're gonna go anyway. Not tonight. I didn't say his name. Okay.
Cause we gotta have something in writing to know what we're gonna do.
Can't go off, I think, $20.
Skip through their presentation. All right. So we're starting off tonight with several things of good news. First is that Atlanta Elementary and Dr. Ray was the teacher who actually wrote this grant. It's called Reading, Robotics, Engagement, and Digital Integration for Next Generation with Bots. He was awarded $2,000 from the Francis Marion Center of Excellence, so we want to congratulate him and Atlanta. The next slide, we received the Stronger Connections grant. This was written by Ms. Tanya Thomas. This amount, we haven't got the final GANs yet. We just got an email saying that we were going to be awarded. So we're waiting for that to come in, but it's over $426,000. And in the grant, this grant will fund stipends for student success coaches to work with students experiencing high rates of truancy and chronic absenteeism. And we know if kids are not here, then their scores are going to probably reflect that as well on state standardized tests because they're not getting all of the instruction. Another part, a big part of the grant is to provide tutors to work with students after school at all of our schools. And that is 16 certified tutors and 8 classified in that grant. So Ms. Tanya worked very hard on this and we appreciate her work and look forward to the results that we will see once we can get this in place, once we get the funding from the state. So thank you, Ms. Tanya. One thing that I don't have on the slide.
I have a question. So this amount, how long will you be able to fund this?
It's 1 year.
1 year.
Yes, ma'am. This is a 1-year grant.
And so then what will you do next?
That's another grant.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
I
also
just hate to see you
That's a
start
stipend,
something
it's not
that
a position.
is not gonna continue for
Yep.
1 year.
And that's why with this grant, it was stipends to pay people additional to do this work. And hopefully we could fund it other ways in the future, but this is just a 1-year grant. but we are excited about the one-year grant. The 21st Century program at Lake City Early Childhood was supposed to end, but we got notification that we have been extended for one more year. So we were very excited to get that notification, and so Lake City Early Childhood will be starting their after-school program for the 21st Century students by the end of this month. And another good news that we actually just received today is that the Lake City Concert Series is donating $2,500 to J. Paul Trueluck. They helped purchase Body microphones and condenser microphones. So we are very excited about that and very grateful to the Lake City Community Concert Series for their support and donation.
Great.
You may not realize that the Lake City Concert Series over the years has probably given almost between $500,000 and $1 million to the schools.
Yes, ma'am.
So, just to be aware.
And the next, I have an enrollment update, and this is by school. And actually, since I did the PowerPoint, there's been a little bit of change. We're actually up to 26-21 district-wide, but you can see the breakdown by school. Lake City Early Childhood is at 365. Main Street is 253. J.C. Lynch is 277, and this is as of today. 377, I'm sorry. Scranton is at 384. Atlanta is up to 167. Ron McNair is 241. J. Paul is 337. And Lake City High School is up to 497. So that brings the total to 26-21. And this is a difference from last year. I've got the 135th day numbers at the bottom. Obviously, this is as of today, but that's about 126 student difference. And more policies. On the next slide, you will see this is a new policy. This is a model policy. Policy JHE, excused absences for career and technology organization experiences. If you recall earlier, I shared with you that the legislators had passed on this, and so this is the policy that goes with that. Basically says that up to 10 days can be excused for students if they are attending CTE organizations. And those organizations are actually listed on the next slide as part of the policy. It does state that students are required for makeup work that they miss while they're out, and they cannot have more than 10. So that is new policy JHE. One more new policy for first reading is policy BEA, which is live streaming of board meetings. I told you that this had passed as well, so this is the policy that reflects that, basically saying that all regular meetings, work sessions, budget workshops, budget hearings, committee meetings, subcommittee meetings, special called meetings, and public hearing meetings of the board, except for executive session, must be streamed. As you know, we switched over to YouTube, and so that is mentioned specifically in the policy. And also, if the policy states what should happen if you were to have technical difficulties, that you're still to get that posted and available to the public. And I think it's on the next slide, it talks about the access to broadband, but all districts across the state must have this policy implemented and in effect by January the 1st of 2026. And once our policy is in place after second reading, we actually have to send a copy of this to the State Board of Education so that they can verify that every district has implemented the live stream policy. So those are the two new policies. There are a couple of revisions as well. Do you want me to go ahead and go through those? Okay. Revision for policy BE, which is our board meeting policy. It is adding that statement that I just read there in red to say that we are going to be broadcasting those meetings, and that is to make that policy compliant with the new requirement. And revision to policy JH, which is student absences and excuses, is adding that statement there about CTE organizations, since that policy is required now as well. Any questions about the policies?
Board, at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding the first reading of policy JHE, excuse absences for career and technical organization experiences, and first reading for policy BEA, live streaming of board meetings.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the new policies JHE and BEA for the first reading.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Ruther Frierson and a second by Mr. Jason Kirby. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve first reading with JHE, excuse absences for career and technical organization experiences, and policy BEA, live streaming of board meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. At this time, I'll now entertain a motion regarding policy revisions BE, board meetings, and policy JH, student absences and excuses.
I move to approve policy revisions BE and JH.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rebecca Yates and a second by Ms. Maddie Thomas. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to approve the policy revisions for policy BE, board meetings, and policy JH, student absences and excuses, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have Mr. Brian Huckabee and Mr. Mitch Driggers to come and share with us a facilities update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
If you will recall, the board approved fire alarm upgrades for certain schools. Since that meeting, we've gotten firm quotes, which fortunately came in less than what we anticipated. And because of that, with your approval, we would like to add Olanta and Graham Road to the list of schools that will get upgraded fire alarms. Adding those two schools will still keep us over $377,000 under what was originally projected. Scranton is the only school not included because their alarm was upgraded during the renovation of the 200 building less than 2 years ago. Okay. And so you see a breakdown by location, how much each school's fire alarm will actually cost. So there are some savings there right off the bat. And that's coming from special obligation bonds. Okay, next slide, just some updates from Lake City High School. Our roofing contractor has been in to take a look at where we were seeing some water get in inside the gym, there at the stage and over toward the athletic trainer's office. He determined that, and Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's water getting in between the brick wall and the block wall. And so the way to fix that is to remove some of the bricks, put in some flashing, and then replace the bricks. And he believes that will stop the leak. Cost for that is $49,776. We also,
Brian, that corrected that issue when we had it before, the same procedure you're talking about, right?
yes, ma'am. Yes, we looked at this when we toured the high school. And we also looked at the second item there, the Cape driveway that floods every time it rains. We've had a general contractor come out and give us an estimate to replace that driveway, put in some curbing that'll tie in with the drain at that second road in front of the Cape building. He estimates that it'll be $135,000. Could be a little more, could be a little less. That is over the threshold for fair and reasonable per our procurement code, so we will have to bid that out in order to get pricing on that. So we just need to know whether to pursue that or not. Just because we bid it out doesn't obligate us to actually do the work if we choose not to. And then Lake City Early Childhood, Things with Phase 1B are rolling right along. The installation of 4 of the 5 transformers started first of this week. The 5th will be installed at a later date. The dedicated outdoor air systems, I do not know these systems at all, but those have been ordered. That conditions the air, the outside air, before it delivers it inside. So it makes it more energy efficient and also keeps it from getting so humid. The installation of the mechanical equipment, the electrical lines and refrigeration lines are continuing there as well. On the next slide, at War Memorial Stadium, we have a revised estimate for the lighting. The architect was under the impression that we did not want to include lighting for the practice field. There was some miscommunication there. We assumed it was included. He did not include it, so the additional cost for practice field lighting is going to be $85,000. Now, on top of that, Mitch and I talked about this, and this is just a recommendation. You can choose to do it or not, but we think it may be a good idea to set aside about $100,000 in special obligation bonds for the stadium, just for contingencies. Any contingency that comes up that may be eligible for special obligation bonds, we'll use those funds as opposed to using the general fund contingencies. So that way we'll save general fund money where we can. And again, I'll point out, that the whole stadium project still has to be bid. And, our lighting, the field house, all that may come in below what we're projecting. All these numbers are just estimates until we actually have contractors bidding on the project. Okay, so the next slide kind of gives you a summary of the special obligation bonds, what was available. The stadium upgrades, the fire alarms, and the fire alarm figure has been updated, and then the playground equipment. So that leaves us just over $9.7 million available. When you remove the $85,000 extra for the practice field lightings and possible $100,000 contingency, then you have not $9.54 million available. And then the next slide, I'm going to turn over to Mitch because I think he's better able to explain Phase 2, Option 1 and 2 to you.
Good evening, Board. Good evening. At the request at the walkthrough we had, we discussed these two, Option 1 and 2 for Phase 2 with Snyder. We went back with Snyder and they reworked some of this stuff. And both of these contracts, the base, are pretty much, well, not contracts, but the evaluation. Option 1 and 2 are basically the same. So I'm going to kind of go over the base on both of them. We're still getting, with this new contract, is $9.7 million with turnkey, minus the $615 for the other funding. So basically, without the athletic lighting, this one's at 9.1. Option 2 is actually $8.9 million is what the base is. In both contracts, or both quotes, we'll be getting all the LED lighting. You see on both Option 1 and 2, the athletic lighting has been deleted because the architect will be doing that at the football stadium.
But it eliminates baseball and softball.
Yeah, there's no athletic lighting on Snyder, right? Yeah. Looking at the base contract. We'll still get the building automation systems for everywhere but the district office complex and Graham Road. Option 1, if you look at the fourth blue line in that section, mechanical improvement. Option 1 will actually be, there'll be 3 rooftop units at Romet there, like we discussed through the walkthrough. There'll actually be 19 units changed on the 100, 200 building at the high school. There'll actually be 6 rooftop units changed at the Career Tech. If you'll note right below that, on the Main Street column, Main Street gym would not be getting any HVAC under this. When you look at option 2, it's basically the same. You would just be getting Main Street air conditioning and not the Career Center rooftop units. That's basically the only difference in these base 2 bids. When you look at the bottom, we've actually got an adder on here. Snyder actually put an adder on here to where you can see what the baseball and softball athletic lightings would total. And that would come up with, the turnkey project would be 10.7 million on option 1, then minus your 615 out of your security grant and your 972 monies would put you at a base with that adder at 10.1 million. Option 2 with the same numbers would put you at 9.9 total SOB contribution on that. Y'all have any questions on any of this?
Is for slide number 27, 13544094, is that the total remaining?
That's before we, take out for fire alarms.
That's before we take out these projects?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and
The,
We got 9.5.
after those, you have 9.725 million. Now, if you want to add the practice field lightings in the stadium project and hold back 100,000 for contingencies and special obligation, then you've got 9.5. I will say too, Mr. Brown, I expect we'll get something in a safety grant in November that will be used for fire alarms.
I remember you sharing that.
So, but we just don't know how much.
I know that y'all are gonna probably flip out when I say this, but I really think we need to hold off on voting on any of this until we see the actual plan to pay this $20 million back. Because it's been brought up that we don't know where that money's coming from. We've had that discussion here in the previous meeting. And so I'd like to see the updated plan of how we're gonna pay this back before we obligate ourselves to spend it all. Because we really may not have enough money to pay it back. And before we get in a hole and we see Florence 3 is broke, I'd like to see that plan before I vote on any of these expenditures.
Well, the problem is, time is of the essence with this, and we have spent months of back and forth.
I understand.
We have spent months of back and forth conversation. We've spent months of back and forth, people coming in here, bringing stuff in here that has nothing to do with these projects. We have parents, we have community members, we have stakeholders who have an expectation of things being done. We have had conversations, and we have voted on things. And the problem is going to be, you won't have a problem with us. The problem is going to be out there. Because there are 2 different messages leaving this room. The message leaving this room from us is that we are focused on students. We are doing the things that we need to do through these projects that have been brought up last year under previous administration and promised. Now, if we take that back, we cut our legs from under us as a school board. And I understand what you're saying, Dr. Mims, about holding off on the money, but let's remember this is a public meeting, and so I want the parents and the community to understand. You cannot judge this school board by the decisions that we make as it pertains to this bond or this money when you do not understand the options that we have. When you do not understand the conversations and the realities that may not make it to the forefront of this meeting. And that's why everybody sitting up here has to be uniform and not leave this room saying one thing in comparison to what we discussed in the meeting. Because that's why we've been having, I feel so bad. This woman has had to come back here multiple times, and every time she come back, we send her back with something else. And so I completely understand what you're saying, but I want the community to understand. We are trying to be fiscally responsible. Because we care about the fact that everybody sitting up here face will be on the front of the newspaper at the end of the school year if we're in the red. Nobody is trying to take anything from children. Nobody is trying to withhold anything from your children. Nobody is trying to stop anything from happening. We want to see these things happen. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that every time somebody get out of their car and walk in one of those schools, they are being compensated and our children are being educated. All this stuff is great. I would love to do it all. We don't have the money to do all these things and pay people. Those are our priorities. When you look at those financial goals on that budget, those are the priorities. And that's the message I want the community to understand as we are getting all this gossip and rumors, and I'm tired of hearing it. All this backlash that we're getting as a board about this money and these projects, that the money was not there in the beginning to do. That's just it. And Dr. Mills, that's not at you. I'm saying to everybody, we are trying to make sure that we have money to pay people, that we have money to keep the lights on, that we have money to operate the school district. All these projects are great. I would love to do them all. Your argument is not with people in this room, parents and community. Your arguments is not with people in this room. It's with the people you elect in Florence County. It's with the people you elect in the state. And it's with the people you elect in the federal government, because we don't have the funds we need to operate this district. They give us mandates, they give us rules, but they don't give the money to go with it. It doesn't come. So your argument and your battle is not with this school board. We are trying to operate this district off pennies. And yes, you can look at our budget and say, oh wow, $35 million. Yep, and $35 million has to pay people. $35 million has to pay bills. And that's all I want to be understood, is yes, it may seem we are being reluctant. Yes, it may seem that we are holding back on projects. Ms. Bradley, thank you for coming about the cosmetology and the barbering program. But that's one of those things we have to take our time with, because we want to make sure when you go to Lake City High School, you get a paycheck. That's our priority. That's what we want to make sure. We would love to do these things. But I want the community and everybody in here to know we are being reluctant because we want to make sure we can take care of our primary responsibilities first. You want to help us? Go out here and advocate and get us some more money so we can take care of all these projects. We want to do these things. But we have to put first things first. That's why I said let's phase these projects, let's take our time and look at these things, and that's all Dr. Mills is saying right now. Let's make sure we know what we're doing. I don't want nobody going on strike. I don't want nobody out here protesting and complaining because they're not getting paid. And if we go rush out here and spend all this money and we don't have it, we're going to have a problem. Yes, ma'am, you're welcome to.
When he talks about gossiping and bringing things to the board that's not right or whatever, you know, that I'm relieved right now that right thing to do. I just want to say this is that we begin at, Mr. Chairman, is that when we had board meetings, I mean, and it was said that we have to do something because in December we found to be in the red. Well, back then, that's something that went out saying that basically we're broke, and we're not broke. So I think that this right here, it comes to all 9 board members, all of us. We have to be careful what we say and how we say it. We have to be careful what we say and how we say it. So because when we say this, and we say these things, and then yes, and if we're live, we're on YouTube, and we ain't got nothing to hide. Because of so you didn't know what's going on. So I think that's where it began at that board meeting, when we say that we got to do this because these people get here, you know, and we in the red, we got to explain something to the people. Well, even me as a board member, I was confused because I thought that we had a balanced budget, you know, there. And so as we move forward, this is for all of us. It's not just for one as the 9 board members there. And I can understand too, I was just like we said, you need to, when we told the last board meeting, we need a breakdown of what's going on. I mean, Mr. Chairman, you deal with budget all the time. And so, it's not that $570 million. Well, just break it down and show us how the state needed. That's the only thing that I ask for. Because, you know, and it's not to say that nobody's doing anything wrong, but that is the professional way for us to do it. That is the professional way for us to do it. So, just go back. We have a balanced budget. We bought. And it would say to us that we didn't. So, and we voted for it. Then we come back and we find out something different. So let's just be real about this thing. So that is confusion, and it's confusion to the community. So what we as a board need to really tell the community, you know, what's going on. And don't, you know, and we are a unified board. So right now we're different opinion and still be unified, but we are a unified board. So that's what I'm saying there. And please don't say about the gossiping and things like that, because like I told you on another board meeting, we all will say things that we probably shouldn't say. But it's time for us to come together. I want to say this right here. Forest District 3 School Board and Lake City, Mayor Roberts and the City Council, we are the leaders in this district. We determine whether people want to come and bring their business in this district. We determine whether people want to come to the schools in this district. We determine our leadership means a lot. And I agree with you, Madam Mr. Chair, that we need to be unified. I agree with that. But the only thing I know what I'm saying is that for me, I just need to see, you know, a breakdown from it. You know, like I said when we were doing the tour, maybe I asked a dumb question, but there's no dumb question. But that is for me there, that I need to know. So that's the only thing that what I would say there. You know, my opinion is that if we move forward, I know that we're gonna be okay. I know that we're gonna be okay, you know? But then at the same time, you know, let me stop. I'm sorry.
Any other responses from any other board members?
So it says on here, actions needed for these 3 things in green. We've already approved those, is that not correct?
Yes, ma'am, those have been approved.
So,
This is action if we're taking up any other projects. Okay.
and this fire alarm is adding the other 2 schools? This
Yes,
one right
ma'am.
here? the two?
That'll bring all schools up current on their fire alarm.
And you said it's cheap, 300,000 cheaper than what it was originally without those 2 schools.
Well, yeah, even adding those 2 schools is still $377,000 cheaper than what we projected.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about that grant? We spoke to the gentleman at, J.C. Lynch about fire alarm.
No, ma'am, we won't find out about that, I think, until November.
That'll put something back.
And that will.
I do feel confident about getting something, but it was explained to me that as they keep offering this, each slice of pie gets a little smaller because they're getting more applicants.
But we will get something if this grant goes.
I feel certain we will, yes, ma'am.
And we won't know until November about the fund balance if we're adding anything to it this year. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's when the audit will be completed.
Well, I vote that I'll make a motion, but I think we should just leave what we've got right here and not do anything else until we see the breakdown of how we're paying it back. Because when the finance person says she's shocked that how we're paying it back, she doesn't understand that worries me about all of us.
Can I have that in the form of a motion?
I move that we take no further action on building projects at this time.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Julia Mims and a second by Ms. Rutha Frierson. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to table, building or facilities maintenance project, say aye. Aye. No, I ain't finna do it that way. Mr. Locklear,
Mr. Brown, it would need to be postponed, table means it
postpone,
goes away
yeah,
forever.
postpone. Mr. Locklear, yeah and nay.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yay.
Mr. McKnight,
Yay.
Ms. Yates,
Yay.
Ms. Morris,
Yay.
Ms. Frierson,
Yay.
Ms. Thomas,
Nay.
I can't hear you.
Nay.
Dr. Mims,
Yay.
and myself is you. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Can I, just for clarification?
Yes, sir.
We do proceed with these three projects that have already been.
Yeah, we have to do those because we voted and spent money.
Thank you.
All right, and that concludes presentations.
Thank you. Board, at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding executive session.
I move that we exit to executive session to discuss personnel matters, concerns, possible hiring, termination, resignation, place on leave, or legal matters.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Julia Mims and a second by Mr. Jason Kirby. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to exit from open session and enter to executive session to discuss personnel matters, concerns, possible hiring, termination, resignation, placed on leave, or legal matters, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. motion to exit from executive session and to reconvene into open session?
I'll move that we exit from executive and re-enter into open session.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Rebecca Yates and a second by Mr. Jason Kirby. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to exit from executive session and to reconvene into open session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. There were no actions necessary to take action from executive session. Board, at this time, I will entertain a motion regarding adjournment.
I move you adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Judy Mims and a second by Mr. Jason Kirby. Is there any discussion? None being noted, all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.